Hello, I'm Navya Balaji from BTech EC. I'm in my second year. Currently, we have three previous year WISH mentees who are going to give us a guided insight of how to apply for the WISH program conducted by Texas Instruments. So, why don't you guys give us a brief introduction?
Hi, I'm Arismita Mukherjee. I'm currently in my third year. I'm an EC student, IM Tech. I was part of WISH mentorship when I was in my second year.
Hi, I'm Nupur. I am from IM Tech 4th year EC. I was part of the WISH mentorship when I was in my third year IM Tech.
Hi, I'm Shreya, and I am also a fourth year IM Tech EC student here, and I got selected in WISH when I was in my third year.
That's great, guys. And Arismita, Nupur, and Shreya will be interning in Texas Instruments this upcoming summer. So, a big hand for them. So, let's get started with the interview. Could you tell us a little bit about the selection process? So, how does it go from the resume screening to the final interview? So, what does a candidate expect?
Okay, so like initially, TI gives a form where you have to fill out your preference. First, you prefer hardware or embedded, and then you'll have to, of course, upload your resume. There'll be 2 paragraphs which you have to write essays. So it'll be mainly about how you fell in love with electronics or um, like yeah, what do you expect from this program? So once that is how the application process is, and there will be a resume screening followed by an OA. OA usually has 3 segments to it: maths, aptitude, then electronics, and then in the end, if you selected embedded or not, then you'll have C, C++, like all those type of questions. After OA, if you get selected, you'll have an interview round, and that's the final round.
All right. So, given that the next round would be the online assessment, Nupur, why don't you tell us a little bit about all the rounds that are there in the online assessment?
Sure. So, OA consists of 3 sections. It's either hardware, hardware plus embedded, or only embedded. I selected hardware and embedded. So, for me, first section was mathematics, which was 45 minutes and 15 questions. It usually had questions of profit and loss, probability, graph-based questions. I think, again, I would say gate-style questions, mental ability questions are enough to practice. Then the second section was hardware, which was 15 questions in 45 minutes. And the topics were basic RLC circuits, op-amp questions, then signals and system type questions, LTI systems, then capacitor energy based questions, some STA questions as well, but you don't need to have the knowledge of exact formulas. Just by looking at the graphs, you could answer. Again, I would say for these kind of questions, gate level topics are enough. The difficulty level is kind of similar, or I would say lesser than that. And final section was of embedded, which had C questions. We had been given code snippets, and based on those code snippets, we had to answer. And information of some basic data structures such as stacks or queues would be enough, I feel.
Okay, that was really informative. So, I guess the next step would be the interview, right? So, Shreya, why don't you tell us about the interview?
So, in the interview, it was a mix of both technical as well as behavioral questions. The interview started off with a brief introduction about yourself, and then he proceeded to ask me about my resume and my SOPs that I had written in the application form. And after that, he asked me some questions about how electronics has made my life better, and what are some products that some electronics products that I use, and which are very very important in my life. And so basically he wants to check how aware you are of your surroundings and of the products that you use. And after that, he moved on to some technical questions. He asked me about filters, the frequency response that they have, the various kind of filters. And he also asked me one aptitude question in order to check my problem solving skills. And after the interview ends, please make sure that you ask the interviewer a follow up question. Be it like I personally asked him about what feedback will he like to give me post the interview, and some of my friends, they asked him about what he worked on and stuff like that. So please make sure that you ask him something.
All right. Arismita, Nupur, would you like to add on to the interview, like give us your experience?
Like my interview also started out with a brief introduction about myself. Then I had to select a project which I had to like tell in depth about. One thing which stood out to me in this entire interview process was that the interviewer kept checking if we had willingness to learn and curiosity throughout the entire duration of my interview. So like when he asked me about my project and I was explaining it to him, there was like one question I couldn't answer in depth. So that's then I told him कि after the interview I'll look into that question. So that kind of gave the interviewer a thing that I am willing to learn. So like it's fine if you can't answer all the questions, like you might not know everything, but like always give an impression to the interviewer that you're curious and you want to learn, because after all this is a mentorship program in the end. So like they're checking for candidates who actually will make the most of the mentorship they provide. So like after my questions based on my project, he moved on to TI products, like how much I knew about products of TI. I was asked about radars, calculators, and different various other products of TI. And yeah, I wasn't very surprised with any of the questions he asked, but yeah, make sure you demonstrate your curiosity and willingness to learn. He also asked me how I would manage my time in the program. So yeah, make sure you tell that you're excited for this program and you will devote how much ever time you like, how much ever time you have, and prioritize wish. And yeah, like that was most of it. So yeah.
Nupur, would you like to add on?
Sure. So for me, it was kind of a little bit different than these two. It was more on the behavioral side than the technical side. One question I really remember was that he asked me if I felt like a failure at any point in my life, which is the question I didn't expect. But it and also they don't need you to answer like for this. It wasn't necessary for me to answer like, okay, I didn't do this project well, or I didn't get this opportunity or something. It could be anything other than studies as well. They don't expect you that your answer should be focused towards studies only. Then for me it was very more on the essays which I wrote. He just asked me I think one technical questions but more on the essays. And I had ML and hardware projects, so he stressed on the basics. He didn't go on detail, okay, what is this architecture, how many layers and all. He asked basic questions such as difference between ML and AI, like the most basic question. Then what is the difference between a diode transistor. So don't try to go into like very high topics, and you might feel that they would ask and you would be, if you answer you would get selected. It's more on the basic knowledge that you have that they want to see, so that they can if you get selected they can build on that basic knowledge.
All right, that was really informative. Thank you. I guess the next would be how the program went. So, Nupur, why don't you give us a basic structure of how the program was structured? Like, what all did you do during that entire duration of the program?
Okay, so it's basically a 5 weeks program curated in that you have 3 weeks online and 2 weeks offline. In the 3 weeks, first week is the digital week. The next 2 weeks are online weeks, and the 2 offline weeks, in that the first week is they'll teach you actual how to work on actual hardware. They'll provide you kits, and the last week is an optional week, which is kind of a boot camp where you'll have 2 options, either to choose analog one or the digital one, and both are equally very interesting, but you can just choose one of them.
Okay, that's really nice to know. And I also heard that you won the hackathon. So, could you tell us a little bit more about your hackathon project?
Sure. So in this program, in the first week itself, you will be divided into teams of 5 people, all from separate colleges, and you will have one analog mentor and a digital mentor, and you will be given problem statements by TI. So for us, we had the problem statement of a smart traffic light system, and we had to work on this topic for the complete duration, and in the pre-final week we had to give a demo to panelists. So for our project we actually went through a lot of sensors, discarded so many, and then finally we switched to radar as our final processor. And then after that I feel it was just trial error basis, what works, what doesn't work, which communication pattern works with this, which doesn't work. I feel the major advantage for any team would be trying to use TI products itself in their project, because I think we did that and that gave us a quite leverage compared to other teams. So in our project, we had TI's radar, we had TI's microcontroller, we had TI's wireless protocol as well. And yeah, I feel you can ask your mentors any questions. If you have any doubts, they'll definitely guide you on that. And the major thing that comes out of the project is the learning process itself and not the final outcome, because you get to know, oh, this thing didn't work, why didn't it work, this thing works, okay, I can definitely use this thing in my later projects as well. And in the end, you have to give a presentation demo. I would suggest you to definitely have kind of a working prototype or a model, a miniature model. It doesn't need to have the exact sensors that you're actually presenting it in your solutions. As we didn't have radars at that time, we used simple ultrasonic sensors to give our project demo. And I feel that's really important, because it actually shows the panelists that whatever solutions you are giving, they are just not imagination. Actually, they do work in real life. And try to be a little bit mathematical with your solutions, because they would do try to ask you counter questions, such as for us, they did ask us that we told them that our scenario is of a highway of certain meters, this much distance, pole height of the street light would be this much. So they did ask what happens if you are on a hill. So of course the placement of the sensor would change, the distance it covers, the angle would change. So be ready for that kind of questions as well. And do tell, like, don't proceed with your presentation as a presentation. I would say talk it like a story, something personal that you're attached with, and you went through a lot of things, you saw this didn't work. So that actually shows how much time you invested, not just time, like your whole interest in that project, it shows. And yeah, just be like confident while giving, and they don't expect you to have the correct solution, because the same project was given to, I feel, 5 to 10 more teams. And of course every team would have a different solution, so there is not a single correct solution. It's how, whatever solution you choose, how do you proceed with that solution. I think that is what is more important. And yeah, I feel this 5 weeks of duration, most of the time you'll spend in projects and classes. And the main thing you would learn out of projects is different approaches to the same problem, because you'll have 5 amazing minds working with you. And I feel, yeah, that's the most important takeaway. And yeah, projects are very fun for me. So yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot.
That sounds really fun. So, Arismita, Shreya, do you want to add on to it with your projects?
So the project my team got was flood detection, but we were also given provisions to extend the problem statement. So we changed it into flood detection and mitigation. So like how she told, to build working prototype. For my project, we couldn't build a working prototype because getting a flood working prototype isn't possible. But like, make sure you make a model through which you can demonstrate to the panelists about what you're thinking, because you will have to show them what you're thinking so that they also understand ki, okay. And the main thing out of this design thinking project which I liked the most was that I got to connect with so many people, because first of all, once you're in TI, you're most of the time will go in attending TI classes. So we used to work on these projects, then we used to go back to hotel in the evening, and then from evening till night we used to sit and work on these projects. And like how she told, 5 to 6 teams will be given same problem statement. So you can go and approach other teams in a healthy way and ask them what their solution is and like brainstorm together. So that will help you explore your mindset and thinking, and not necessarily teams which only have the same problem statement. Like you can go and talk to various other people. Like this was a very good opportunity to network and connect with people and understand how various people think. And like the people I connected with back then, I still speak to some of them right now, and that's a very nice opportunity, I think. Yeah.
So for me, my project was like distraction detection wristband, and again, as Arismita said, even it was hard for us to make a working prototype. But something that I learned out of the project is that you have to learn and you have to think in terms of hardware. Like whichever algorithm you decide, whatever you do, it has to be very feasible in hardware. You know, don't just think in terms of software that, oh, if you get some problem and you have to predict something, just plainly just, you know, simply use machine learning. But then you have to check whether the hardware that you're using, like for a wristband, it has to be really small. So can that very small processor run a heavy ML model and things like that? So you have to think in terms of feasibility, in terms of hardware feasibility. That is, I think, one of the things that I learned in my project.
Wow, that's really interesting, guys. So, given that there's a lot of learning happening, and I heard that there are like really structured weeks to learn skills. So, Shreya, why don't you tell me about some of the skills, some of the topics that were taught during this entire program duration?
So it was a 4 week program in which there were 3 weeks were the online weeks and the fourth week was an offline week, which also followed with an optional boot camp. And then in the online weeks, we used to have classes from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock. So it used to be very packed. And we used to have daily quizzes as well as weekly quiz. And so the first week was a digital week, and the second, like the other 2 weeks, were analog weeks. In the digital week, they told us various things in the digital VLSI process, like for example, physical design, verification, testing, RTL design, and digital electronics. And then after that, we used to have a weekly quiz, in which they used to ask all what they've taught in that week. And it used to be a proctored quiz. And after that, moving on to the analog week, we had RLC circuits. They were taught to us in great depth. Like the person who taught it really well, very intuitively. They taught everything. Like they always used to focus a lot on like intuition. You should be able to feel whatever is being taught, rather than just knowing the math of it. So intuition was something that was very important. And then we were also taught about the Fourier and Laplace transform of RLC circuits. And then moving on, in the offline week, we were giving hardware kits like MSP M0 kit and ASLK kit. And we had to make like op amps, and we had to work with like microcontrollers and all in that particular week. And at the end of the offline week, we also had our project presentations, which were like graded by the very senior people in TI.
That's great. That's really great. So I heard boot camp, and I guess most of you would have had like really fun experiences during that. So, Arismita, why don't you tell me what your favorite experience was?
The favorite part of me in this entire experience was the boot camp. So like we were given option to choose between digital and analog, but as I'm more inclined towards digital, I chose the digital boot camp, and that honestly was really fun. Like we were given to build a RISC-V processor using System Verilog from scratch. So and like we were given fresh mentors for the boot camp as well. So like our mentors would come in and help us debug the programs, and it was honestly, I never knew debugging was this fun. I used to be scared of debugging, but this time I actually, like, we spent one entire week coding and debugging in System Verilog. And yeah, like there used to be times when I used to be done with programming. I used to be like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Like there are bugs, but fine. But then my mentor used to be like, no, you can do this. Try, come on. So yeah, like the mentors were very patient and they were there to help you. And yeah, like before bootcamp, I knew what sequential and combinational circuits were. But once I actually coded it out, that's when it became like, okay, when do I need to save clock cycles? When do I have to put everything in an always block? It became more intuitive for me. Like it became second nature. And yeah, it was very fun. Like you not only debug your own program, the person sitting beside you, you also see their codes and debug together. And it's very fun. Like honestly, that was my favorite part of the program, and once I spoke to both of them, it was theirs also. Like everyone, I think, had a shared experience of having bootcamp as being very fun.
That honestly sounds like a very fun experience to have, and I think most of us would really hope to get just to have that experience. So I guess for the candidates who are planning to like apply for Wish right now, I would love to get one advice from each of you that you think is really valuable for us to know.
So my advice would be to talk as much as you can, to talk to a lot of people, like even if you're an introvert, then please just be an extrovert for those 1 or 2 weeks that you're there, because all the people in Wish are like coming from top colleges and they have a lot of experience, and you can learn a lot from them, like not just curricular stuff, even extracurriculars. Like it's a very good networking opportunity. And the second thing I would like to add is that please talk a lot to your mentors. Please build a very good connection with them, because those people, they're very experienced, they're very knowledgeable, and they're always there to help you, they're always there to guide you. And if you don't interact with them, then like basically mentors are the ones who will be recommending you for an internship. So if you don't talk to them, then they won't know like how good you are. So yeah, please talk to your mentors.
Yeah, I would just want to add to her point only that mentors are really a good help, and it's just not for that much duration. It just lasts for a complete of like lifetime. Still, right now, many of us are in contact with our mentors. We do approach them if we have any solution, any problems, and the friendships which you build during those time. Like our wish group is still active. There are still all like different opportunities are still put in that group. People do ask any other people if I am doing this project, I'm having certain problem in this, does any of one of you know this technology, could you help me with up. So I feel don't approach this program as get like if I get into this program I'll get internship is just a byproduct of this program. Approach this program as a complete learning process, and just getting this experience only what I feel change your direction towards any problem you're thinking. Because for me, previously last year how I used to go about problems is very different compared to right now how I approach problems. I think TI did play a very huge role in that, in shaping my thoughts. So, and yeah, a lot of that goes to bootcamp because that was the best debugging experience I had. So yeah, internship is just a byproduct. That is the main line I would say. Focus on the program more than the internship.
Yeah, my advice would be like the SOPs you guys, like the SOPs we write in the form, it should have personal touch. Like, don't write something just because it sounds fancy. Like even in our interviews, we were asked to explain what we had written in our SOPs. So, like, write something you actually care about and actually, like, from personal experience. If you fell in love with electronics, how did you fall in love with electronics and what you expect from this program? So like have personal touch to it so that you can explain that in great detail when they ask it in the interview. And also Wish is a very packed program. Like we had classes from 9 to 5 during the online week, followed by assignments, quizzes, also weekend tests, and once you're in TI in the offline week, it's very very hectic. So like don't have some other internship or summer like anything, like don't have any other program alongside Wish. Like prioritize Wish, and if you're doing something alongside Wish, like it might affect your productivity in both the things you're doing. And if you prioritize Wish more, you'll like you'll get a lot of things back from Wish too. So yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We're really glad to have you here and hope to see you soon. Thank you.